Hi and welcome to VeloGPS. In this quick start guide we're going to help you to get the most out of your Garmin Edge Touring by showing you how to set up the data pages. So in order to do so you need to select the settings options in the bottom right here, and then within the setting options you choose trip pages, and you have 4 pages to choose from, so map, compass, elevation and the timer page, which we're going to take a look at first of all. So having selected the timer page, you'll see that at the moment we have 6 data fields displayed, but you can adjust that all the way down to just 1 data field taking up the whole of the screen, or to 2 data fields on a split screen, all the way up to 10 data fields. Now we tend to find that the screen might just look a little bit cluttered, a little bit too much information displayed with 10 data fields, so our preferred option, our optimal, is around about 6 data fields, where you have 2 larger data fields displayed at the top of the screen and then 4 smaller data fields at the bottom. So once you're happy with the number of data fields you have displayed, all you need to do is select the tick at the bottom there, and you can then set about adjusting the data field that you actually have displayed in each of the areas. So here at the moment we have speed displayed at the top, but if we wanted to adjust that, all you need to do is just touch on that, and this brings up the data field categories, which include routing, distance, elevation, general, speed and timer. So you can select from any of these categories. Just because we're amending the speed setting doesn't mean it has to be within the speed category, but we're just going to adjust it to maximum speed. So once we've selected max speed, it changes it, and that now appears at the top of the screen. But again, if you wanted to change another field, we've got sunset programmed in here at the moment. If we wanted to change it, we just touch on it, and maybe we'll go with one of the routing options, a sort of navigational instruction. So perhaps distance to next would seem sensible. So distance to, in fact that's distance to destination we've set in there. Let's change it back to distance to next. So once you're happy with the data fields that you have displayed, you select the tick option at the bottom, and we can now look at setting up data fields on the map page. So we'll select that, and then we'll look at the map data fields. There are a number of other parameters that you can set up here, but we'll look at the map data fields first of all. Now these can be turned on or off by just touching on the slider at the top of the screen. And there's 2 options. There's the data fields you have displayed when navigating a preset course or a route that you've planned using the device, or a previous route that you've ridden. And then you also have 2 options that you can set up, or 2 data fields rather, for when you're not navigating. So you're just checking out the mapping page during the course of a ride. So we'll set them up whilst navigating, and you'll see that they're displayed in the bottom of the screen here, and we've got speed and distance to next displayed, but we could change that if we wanted to, literally just by touching on it. And what will we do? Perhaps we'll do a different routing option and do time to next instead. Okay, so once you're happy with the data fields you've got displayed, you hit the back arrow, back again, and then the options that remain on the mapping page are orientation, which is just whether you have the track facing up, north up, or whether you want to operate in 3D mode. You can also choose to turn auto zoom on or off, or set the level of detail that's displayed. Now we've got normal at the moment, but you can increase that to more, most, or decrease it to less or least. So once you're happy with the options that you've set up on the mapping pages, we can go back and take a look at the compass page. So again, the compass page can be turned on or off with a slider at the top, and there is 2 data fields that can be customized at the bottom, literally again quite simply just by touching on them and changing what you have set. So we've now changed that to distance. And then finally, the last page that we can set up is the elevation page. Now the elevation page shows us a plot of your elevation over the distance of a course. So it's only going to work when you have a route that you've programmed in, or a course that you've uploaded, or you're re-riding a ride that you've previously ridden. But again, you can customize the data fields that are at the bottom. So once you're happy with everything, we're going to work our way back to the main menu, and we're just going to show what it looks like in practice. So if we select where to, we can use the route planner, and we have a preset route that we've just programmed in already for Pankridge Street in Crondall to the High Street in Odium. So if we view the route, it will just calculate it out quickly, and we can see the route following the pink line on the map here. So if we select ride, and we don't want to simulate driving it at the moment, and you'll see here again, this is our start point on Pankridge Street, and the pink line follows the route of the course. Now a neat little trick, if you wanted to change one of the data fields that you have displayed from the actual page whilst you're carrying out a ride, but don't want to go all the way back through the settings options, all you need to do is touch and hold on the data field until it highlights, and then once you release it, it will take you directly into the data field categories. So we're on the mapping page there, so it seems sensible to set that back to something like distance to next turn. Another feature you'll find is that whilst you're riding a route, if you've programmed in a course or a route, you may well find that the next turn instruction is displayed at the top of the screen. Now this isn't the case at the moment, we've got the GPS turned off because we're in demo mode, but what you can also do is tap the top of the screen, and that brings up these cue card options which just show you the next turns that are appearing on your course. So if you wanted to skip ahead and see how far it is to a certain point on the course, you can do so. So that's a nice little feature there. Now, we started off on the mapping page here, but if we want to change page, it's just a simple case of swiping across the screen to take you to the next page. So here's the compass page, and then we swipe across again, and this is the timer page with our 6 data fields set up. And we've set that for demonstration purposes to maximum speed, didn't we, earlier on, which seems probably not the best to have displayed in sort of the primary field of view. So we've touched and held as we did do earlier, and we're just going to change that back to speed within the speed category. Okay, and then finally, if we take a sweep across, you'll now be able to see the elevation graph for the route that we've got plotted in, because we're now riding that. So you can see it's a relatively flat course here, but you can just see where there's slight increases in elevation along the way here. And again, we'll just demonstrate that you can change the data fields with the touch and hold option. So then a final swoop takes us back to our screen, and one of the things that we tend to find is that we generally ride with the timer screen displayed, because we tend to include, if we're running a course, one of the routing options here, or navigational options such as distance to next. But you can also rely on the device, because as you're approaching any particular turns that are programmed in or that the device knows that you need to make, it will flash up a turn alert, which is a visual representation of the junction that you have that you're approaching, and it will include distance to that and time to that, which count down as you approach it. So the Touring has your back covered, you don't need to worry about missing a junction. So in a few quick minutes there, that is how to set up the data screens on your Garmin Edge Touring.